गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गाना शॉट। गाना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। That good morning was for those who are on the other side of the oceans. For all here, it's a very good evening to all of you. Right, today we're going to talk of the Naya dynamics of Purana Pakistan post-Op Sindoor. What is this all about? Why are we going back to Op Sindoor? Well, let me put it across very bluntly. There's a lot of hype in the atmosphere. Oh, India lost 6-0. We lost the air war. Pakistan defeated us. All this, and China is hyping it up, and they're not letting it go. And every day, whenever it doesn't matter what I talk, that 6-0 keeps coming back. Well, it can keep coming back. There's no problem. Okay? There's no problem at all. There's no issue. Because, I mean, at a fundamental level, you lose a few aircraft, you lose a few guns, you lose a few things. It doesn't mean you won the war. Just to put it in perspective, in the Second World War, the Allies lost more aircraft than the Germans. And yet, who won the war? The Allies. And the Germans lost. You know why? I mean, one has to understand why. Because the Germans couldn't attack anything about the Allied shipping or, London or all that. Not the Allies, the Germans. The Germans couldn't attack the Allies through air. But the Allies could. They attacked. And when you attack, you lose. Who attacked now? So if one odd aircraft is lost, I'm not bothered. But what did my attack achieve? Hell of a lot. Well, be that as it may, there is a lot of gripe in India that look, Pakistan is the perpetrator of terror, and it has got aid, and it has gone away, walked away, whereas India is left like that. And India is now facing a twin problem with China and Pakistan and all that. I agree. Prima facie, this is the fact, right? Everyone says so, and I agree with them to that extent. But what is the reality? What is the reality behind this whole story? That is what we need to go back to Op Sindoor and see the real state of Pakistan. Is Pakistan that international trapeze artist like it is being made out with great global influence? Suddenly, out of the thing, Pakistan is the great power of this area. It's going to dictate the peace. Or, Pakistan and China will get together and squeeze India. All this nonsense. Right? It is with this in mind that I thought, let me talk of this subject. Is something going on new in Pakistan or something old is going on? And that is what you have to understand. And why this thing is all of a sudden, 3 days back, 2 days back, you had a certain set of events happening in between Pakistan, China, and USA. This is a new triangle, Pakistan, China, and USA. It's a funny triangle. Okay. So I saw that, and that's where I picked this up from. Look at it. Look at each one's dreams in this. What is Pakistan looking for? Whether Pakistan is looking towards China or looking towards USA, it's only wants bombs. And who's the target? India. What is US interest? Money, minerals, God knows what all. What is Xi Jinping's interest? He just wants to reach the ocean. The dragon should be great. They are his dreams. All three of them are living in completely different dreams. Their dreamlands are different. Now, in this, who's twisting whose tail? And why is everyone reacting the way they are reacting? And that is something which we have to understand in the larger framework of things. So, like I said, sets of events, Asim Munir went to China. He met Wang Yi. He also met Zhang Yuxia. He met the complete Chinese hierarchy. There's a lot of talk, uh, you know, about it. The very next day, he came back and he held a conference. What is this conference? It was all the chiefs of defense staff of Kazakhstan, all the Central Asian republics. Do you see this photograph? And then the General Kurila, who's the CENTCOM commander of US, he gets the highest award, which is pinned by Zardari. Next day, comes back from China and this happens. Okay. Simultaneously, Ishaq Dar is in, USA, and he's speaking to Marco Rubio. And then, if this is not enough, you see that Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Shamsher Mirza, he's Turkey, talking, something with Turkey, and there's some defense fair going on there. He's gone there. Well, all this gives you the impression that Pakistan is doing something, completely new, completely antithetic to India. All that, I agree. That's his business. Otherwise, he'll die. But you have to deconstruct this. What is actually happening and why it's happening? And what is India's stake in this? Right? There's some good news in this, there's some bad news in this. So we need to be balanced to understand कि भाई ये पाकिस्तान नया है या पुराना है? Or it's the same Purana Pakistan with new dynamics. Right. First, let's get back to Sindoor. I mean, because this whole story, this flip started in Sindoor. You go back to May 9th. I'm going back to May 9th. May 7th, Sindoor started. Right? And 8th or 9th, the Vice President J.D. Vance said, yeah, we know what's happening between Pakistan and India. We'll let them go and carry on. We're not interfering. Come 10th morning, suddenly US starts interfering and there's a ceasefire. So why did it happen? I mean, this is something which all of us have to comprehend and understand why it happened. Well, a lot of people said, no, it shouldn't have happened. We should have had 2 more days. This, that. Then Pakistan says, oh, see, we won a victory by going. And, USA has told India and India has defeated. Yeah, what's the actual fact? Why is this happened? And that's what I want to deconstruct. And what is the prize which is being extracted from Pakistan for all this? We know, as per this, great map, which is again in a public domain in Sindoor, there were 11 airfields, 9 terrorist locations which are here in white, and Pakistan came out with a dossier which had more locations than earlier thought of. So yeah. So there were military targets and terrorist targets and all that. Now, to understand why Pakistan and USA are now getting on like a house on fire, and why USA did the flip. USA did the flip, let's be very clear. Why USA did the flip? The actual story is coming out now. Earlier it was just in air. But now the story is pretty clear. Okay. And we'll talk of that. But we have to understand this first. Okay. These are the airfields which are struck. So I'm going to focus on these airfields. They're important airfields. Jacobabad, Rahim Yar Khan, Sakar, Noor Khan, Sargoda, Bolari. These are the ones in which the circle are. And we'll just Murid. Why are these important and what is the significance of this? You have to connect the dots between all these. When you connect the dots between all these, then you realize that look, there is a problem which Pakistan had. And that problem was pretty severe. At that time, probably we didn't realize it that well. Or we did realize it because our planners didn't know what they were doing. The planners knew what they were doing. And that led to the capitulation. So I went back, into time, picked out important aspects of from pictures which are in public domain. Now it's now confirmed that look, this is the picture which I'm showing to you of Kirana Hills. Now it's very clear that in Kirana Hills we hit something. What is that something? We hit the air vent. Right? Just like what later the Israelis and the Americans did in Fodo. We hit the air vent. As a result, something happened. And that place is shut down. So far, after that day, there is no activity in that area. Period. And this is being watched by everyone. And I'll go by this chap, Damien Simon. Okay, Dead Tresfa. He has been monitoring this whole situation. Now, earlier, a lot of news came about Kirana Hills and all that. There was no confirmation, international confirmation. But here now, this chap says it's clear. There's a proper correlation between video pictures which came from general public on X and satellite photographs, and he's published it very clearly. And this is, of course, Sargodha Air Base, where this cross was hit. Very accurate, the cross was hit. And another part of the main runway was hit. They've just patched it up, Pakistan. Now, what did it result in? You hit their nuclear weapons and you hit their main. Sargodha is supposed to be their depth runway, or rather the depth air thing. This is Sargodha. Okay, this is Sargodha. In depth, their holiest of holy airfields, which had their strategic weapons, everything. That went non-ops, straight on 10th morning. And whatever happened in that nuclear enclave in Kirana Hills got cooked off. Both these did what? It took out the nuclear capability of Pakistan partially. Okay, right. And then Rahim Yar Khan was taken out. Now everyone will say, what's Rahim Yar Khan? What's so great about Rahim Yar Khan? Rahim Yar Khan is virtually a forward airbase. It's a critical airbase. This is the latest NOTAM. So far, it is not operational. From May 10th till date, it is not operational. May 10th ho gaya, June 10th ho gaya, 30 days. July 10th ho gaya, 60 days. Now it's going to be August. So after 90 days, we don't know whether it's still going to be operational or not. And if you look at this is Rahim Yar Khan. Okay? This is Rahim Yar Khan, which is absolutely in the center. Rahim Yar Khan. Why is Rahim Yar Khan important? Rahim Yar Khan is very important for Pakistanis, right? Rahim Yar Khan, because this is a pivotal base which allows operations in the south and in the north. Sargodha is the depth base in heartland Punjab. So if any action had to be taken in this area, desert area and beyond, Rahim Yar Khan was critical, and that was taken out. I'm giving you different explanations now in hindsight, but hindsight is the best side. Then look at Bolari. Bolari is in the north. What did this happen? Now, this is also about a month old. This was the damage which happened after a month. They put some top lens and they're doing something. And it is assessed that in Bolari they lost a AVAX or C30, whatever. But you'll find, I'm not getting into that detail. They lost something great in Bolari. And they've not been able to repair this site so far. 3 months ho gaye. Then look at Murid. This is Murid. Where is Murid? Again, let's go back to that. Yeah, Murid is here. Right? Next to Nur Khan. And that underground, what was there underground here, which we hit? The equivalent of this is Natanz. In Natanz, in Iran, which we had covered, there was one place where a Israeli hit a bunker buster. It went straight through, open field. And that was the end of Natanz underground enrichment facilities. Similar. I would not say that they had enrichment facilities here, but they had something important. And that is why you'll see this is not only underground, they had ventilation towers, watch towers, everything around. I don't know what was hit, but something very important was hit. Until date, they have covered that hole only with a tent. They have not even patched it up. They're trying to retrieve it, God knows what they're doing. Okay. Now, this is Jacobabad. Again hit. A main hangar hit. What is Jacobabad important for? Let's go back again. Very interesting. Now, this is Jacobabad. Jacobabad, Rahim Yar Khan. Jacobabad is the depth of depth airfields. Jacobabad gives them capability to operate against Afghanistan, Iran, everywhere. And Jacobabad, Sargodha and all are supposed to be out of India's reach. So वो भी मार दिया हमने. And Jacobabad had nuclear capable weapons, aircraft. There's no doubt about it. Okay. Does it stop there? Then of course Nur Khan base. Nur Khan base, this is the place which we keep talking today. Everyone says the complete communication system or the command and control setup there has been razed to ground. Finished. And on the 9th, 10th, I still remember, the news had come, they were going to convene their command authority, National Command Authority. National Command Authority means they were planning to use their nukes. 10th morning, everything stopped. Peace. They started talking peace. Why? Their command authority is hit. Kirana Hills is hit. Their main air bases where they can fly nuclear aircraft were hit. They were non-operational. Okay, this is Shankar, another important airbase of theirs. Now, if you take a sum total of what happened, you will, I've been thinking of this very, with an unbiased way. Why did Pakistan fold up on 10th morning? This country has been talking nuclear, for everything. Anything India does, वो अब जी हम तो हमारे पास तो न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब है, हम तो एटॉमी देश हैं. And right from Parvez Musharraf to Ziaul Haq to everyone who said, oh, we know how to sort out India. We also have nuclear weapons. They are the ones who deployed the tactical nuclear weapon. country as aggressive as this, why did it suddenly fold up? It was supposed to convene a nuclear command authority meeting the next day. That came out in the news, and suddenly all gone, right? Have we understood why? Very important. That was the time when I thought, now, when you look back, they were strategically broken. Pakistan was a strategically broken state by 10th morning. And that fellow, that prime minister, came out and they said, oh, after Fajr prayers, we wanted to attack when Brahmos attacked us. Didn't he say that? After that, na Fajr hua, na prayer hua, na attack hua. Sirf maafi hua hai. Okay. So, why? On 10th morning, if I were a Pakistani, what would I think of? I would be thinking, all my terrorist infrastructure has been dislocated. A lot of terrorists have died. They have been hit badly. In all my terrorist camps have been hit. This entire infrastructure I have to relocate. And the terrorists might be feeling that we have let them down. Okay. My complete air defense equipment is gone. My communication is disrupted. I can't communicate from base to base. 10th morning, 10th midnight, 9th, 10th midnight. By first thing in the morning, my major bases have been hit and hit badly. I've lost aircraft. The S-400 had hit at the maximum range, it hit AWACS. I have lost probably one more AWACS, a transport aircraft, and 3-4 F-16s, JFs, whatever. They've lost. There's no doubt. The bloody lying Pakistanis and those third-rate bloody Chinese. They've lost. That's why I said 6 to 8 aircraft, including AWACS, transport aircraft, and fighters. Communications gone. Air defense down completely. And to add to all this, your nuclear capability is severely degraded. Gone. Hey, this is where you have to understand the intricate dynamics. Look, Pakistan has some nuclear capability. Now, part of the nuclear capability is based on missiles. Another part of the nuclear capability is based on aircrafts. The third part of the nuclear capability is on tactical nuclear weapons, which is with Nasser. It can fire only 60, 70 kilometers. My guess, is that on 10th morning, their residual nuclear capability was as follows. The air-delivered nuclear systems could not be delivered. There were nowhere they could take off from the main air bases. And what happened in Kirana Hill, some of their nuclear warheads might have cooked off also. That's being spoken of increasingly. There's also news that we hit Chagai Hills, where they had something. You hit Jacobabad, which is a depth airfield. And then Noor Khan, their command center, and gone. AD gone. What could they fly with? They couldn't communicate. They were left only with Nasser. Nasser was a tactical battlefield weapon system to be used against ground forces. And our ground forces had not moved. With 40, 50, 60 kilometers of range or 70 kilometers of range, what will you target? So Nasser tactical battlefield system, which was supposed to be their antidote to the cold start doctrine, was out of the equation. Air a component brought out of the equation. They only had land-based missile systems. And those land-based missile systems now didn't have AD protection. They have to come out and deploy somewhere, isn't it? Zero. Then what? Could they have used it? On the other hand, on 10th morning, where was India? We had absolute impunity to operate almost anywhere in Pakistan with our aircraft, which we didn't need to. Because at that point of time, we had enough BrahMos to hammer them. I can tell you. And what's now come out, we hardly use the army BrahMos. Army also has BrahMos. In fact, incidentally, for those of you who don't know, Army has more BrahMos missiles than other two forces. We had not touched them also. So far, only air-launched BrahMos were in the act. Navy and Army were intact. Few might have been used, that's about all. What if they got into the act? You need to fly also. So, look at the Pakistani mind. And that is why he went this. My babs, ceasefire kara do. And also at the same time, the LOC was being hammered. Left, right, and center. Many of their command systems across the LOC were destroyed. Their defenses were destroyed. Their guns were not firing. They couldn't fire. They had to go to USA. Same USA, which 24 hours earlier said, we'll not interfere, suddenly interferes. Why? Maybe it had interests in Nurkan and Kirana Hills and all, as rumors are flying. I couldn't care a damn about them. But what is definite, and this is interesting, what is definite is US sensed an opportunity. US would have been very happy if we had just sorted out Pakistan. Right? And they were very happy now. They said, let's take use of this. We'll come to the US interest a little later. We're still talking of Pakistan. What is the status today? What is Pakistan so happy about? Have you thought of it? That all the fools who say, India has been defeated in this war. And all the Chinese chaps, every day anything I put out, a Chinese chap will come and say 6-0. Pakistani chap will say, we hit you 6-0. You don't talk of it. भैया तुम हवाई जहाज ही उड़ाते रहो, हम आपका पूरा ले लेंगे, जो लेना है ले लेंगे, दबा दबा के ले लेंगे. वो हालत है. 90 दिन हो गए, 90 days have passed. Their major bases are still not repaired. They can't do operations. Their AD, it remains depleted and vulnerable. They don't have reserves. They didn't have reserves then. They couldn't redeploy. Even now, what little redeployment will do, they'll be full of holes. In any case, you know how to suppress them and bypass them. They're weak. They've not got any new equipment. What's very apparent to the whole world today is Pakistan lost faith in Chinese equipment. Period. You have to go back to the time when Bajwa, in a think tank dialogue, he said, why are we going to the why are we going to buy Chinese equipment? We are going to buy Chinese equipment because the West is not giving us anything. Neither submarines, nor fighters, nor helicopters, anything. So we have to go to China. At that time itself, 2 years back when he gave that, and I spoke of it, right? China was not their first choice. China was never their first choice for weapons. They always wanted either US weapons or Western weapons because they knew that Chinese weapons won't perform on ground. And they lost faith in the Chinese equipment. And that is right. And why did USA, China flip? Not China, sorry. Why did Pakistan flip overnight? Why China and Pakistan are the best friends, isn't it? They should have gone to China and said, yeah, please approach India or put pressure on India so that we get stopped. The things get stopped. They went to USA. Why? They knew that the Chinese equipment won't stop India from doing what it wants. They also knew that the Chinese will not do anything against India. All this is there. Now, if you think coolly back, all this is coming out. Complete loss. And they knew that China could not mediate between India and Pakistan. So they had no choice but to go to USA. And USA was just waiting. And why they're waiting, I'll come to it. That is the interesting thing, which we didn't foresee. So there's loss of faith in Chinese equipment. They need US support more than ever. And that is playing out. That is why this fellow is going, one chap is going to USA, the other chap is going there, and the third chap is going to Turkey as a hedge. They're in panic. Please understand that. Their economy is still in doldrums. It's not as if their economy is now growing at 20% or 30%. They're still going negative. The FATF threat is still there. It's not gone anywhere. And the Indian threat remains. If all this is down, it will take us very little if they misbehave to hammer them again. And they can't use their nuclear weapons. They don't have a nuclear deterrence left. And this is not my thing. I'll show you proof of that. Immediately, within 1 week of May 10th. Okay, this is on May 26th, 2 weeks. He says Pakistan is in a doctrinal dilemma of nuclear deterrence. We have to rethink our deterrence because deterrence had failed. Pakistani deterrence had failed, and this was an admission in dawn. We had discussed this. But has it stopped here? Later, now people are saying, can India-Pak deterrence hold? Why are they talking of deterrence? I am not talking of deterrence. I'm not interested in that because I know how I can get Pakistan to do into the fold for nuclear deterrence. I know how to make them behave. But they are seeking back that nuclear deterrence has just vanished. भैया तुम अपना अगर मेरा चेयर रेफेल मार भी गए तेरे को क्या मिला है? What have you got? This is not a bloody cowboy turkey shoot that you've shot 6 Rafales and you won the war. Yeah, you bloody lost the war, you idiots. You lost it. You lost your nuclear shield completely. And none of my aircraft are down. Maybe one odd. I couldn't get a damn. Now they're worried about our missile systems. What is their shield against this missile system? When that Agni comes, 5,000-ton warhead, even if you break it, it will still fall on your head only. And this got a MIRV and will hit you. And now they're worried about that. So they don't have nuclear shield. Nothing. China is not going to give them anything now. We'll talk of that. So where does this idiot go? He has got not choice but to go to USA. Why did you think this chap Trump called and this chap jumped? Did Trump call him directly for lunch? No, it didn't. First, They told him, you come to Central Command. This Kurila fellow called him to Central Command, kept him there for 3 days. He was briefed, yeah, whoa, some talk would have taken place. Then he would have said, he would have demanded, yeah, I want a lunch with Trump or something with Trump. So Trump called him for lunch. और उसको lunch खिला के भेज दिया. It's a soda. What does America, why is America doing this soda? That is the important thing. Now it's coming out. The story is coming out. Am I happy with the story? Partially, yes. I have no problem. More should happen. Now, is this the only thing which has happened internally with India? That India had a field day in Sindoor. 4 days in Sindoor, we sorted them out. They were in panic. I can show videos of Pakistan in panic. And now, post Sindoor, they are in nuclear panic. Absolute nuclear panic. That's why those articles which are coming out every third day, one article is coming out. कि हमारा क्या होगा? How do we establish deterrence? It's gone. It's one bird which has flown the cage. Now we don't have not only nuclear ascendance, we have non-nuclear ascendance also, and you can't match. And China will not give you anything. I can bet my bottom dollar that China will give nothing to them. And these chaps don't have the resources. Economy hai bhai, internal issues dekho. Baluchistan, KPK, every day there is something or the other happening. It costs money to sort it out. Flood and water. Recently floods were there, 200 people died. Now that water will go off. They don't know how to store that water. That water will go off. Now they'll be back to water scarcity. Do they have the resources? No. What do they have resources for? Nothing. Today in Dawn, I read there's poverty increasing in Pakistan. 45% are under poverty. तो भिखारी देश है ये. Population is increasing. खाने के लिए है ही नहीं. Population पैदा करे जा रहे हैं ये. और कोई काम नहीं है इनका. पैदा करते जाओ. Army, there is dissent. Let's not have doubts about it. I've spoken about this just 4 days back. There are political issues which we don't understand, but it's happening. I mean, very funny. Imran has 2 sons. Those chaps are sitting in UK. They have gone to US. They are doing some lobbying to get this guy released. They are threatening that they'll come to Pakistan and do something. And Munir is in absolute terror. He doesn't know what to do, how to handle them. If they go and motivate Pakistanis not to send money, and the most popular leader of Pakistan is still in jail. Whether he's good, bad, or ugly, that he's a live snake lying there. If he dies, even by natural causes, Munir will have a problem. Just think if tomorrow Imran Khan dies in jail, how will he be disposed of? Will he be brought out? He'll be a martyr. If he's kept and buried inside the jail, what will happen? Yeah, look, all this nonsense with this Munir is doing has got limited limited time role. After that, what will happen, we'll see. Where does Pakistan stand in the Islamic world today? Doesn't even bother about it. They'll give some money. And their money is being given because of USA. And why USA is doing this, we have to understand. And then to trump all this is Munir's ambitions. He wants to become president. All that is in the out. These are all these points are not from my imagination, but these are from the media, mainstream media of Pakistan. Has anything gone out of the window? No. They're all there. पाकिस्तान हैज नॉट बिकम चाइना ना, वो पैसे है, सब कुछ है, ऐसे भी तो भिखारी है, भिखारी रहेगा। अब और मार पड़ा तो ही इज नॉट एबल टू मेक गुड दैट। लुक एट दिस आर्टिकल टुडे इन डॉन टुडे। It says water scarcity in Pakistan a geopolitical ticking time bomb. It says their article, there's a big article. If you read it, you'll know where Pakistan stands in terms of their agriculture. Their agriculture is going down, their poverty, their everything is given in beautiful detail. Yeah, all this has not gone out. Everyone knows. This is a poor beggar nation with a strong military and some nuclear weapons. They know how to handle it. We should also know how to handle it. Now let's look at USA. What is USA? Uh, what is the US angle in this whole story? Why is USA behaving the way it is? It has done a flip. Trump doesn't like, the way about India, whatever, fine. Is Trump going to bail out Pakistan? He is easing Pakistan. Suddenly, Sindoor gave USA a break. They had an opportunity to break the China-Pak alliance. Look, let's be very clear on one thing. If USA can get back Pakistan and throw China out, that will be a great geostrategic victory for them. Then they don't need India for that kind of containment they want of China. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand what is USA's larger intent. His larger intent is China. We should understand that. Trump's larger intent was always China. Even before he became the president, he ensured that the forces in the Western Pacific were beefed up, whether it's in Japan, Guam, Philippines, or around Taiwan. He got nuclear submarines placed, he got aircraft placed, he got Typhoon missile systems placed, he got their HIMARS placed in the islands north of Taiwan, Japanese islands north of Taiwan, in a place called Yonaguni, 200 kilometers away. And then he got Typhoons placed in Luzon, Philippines. So he had actually beefed up that entire area. His focus is very clear. People say all this, but his focus is very clear. His focus is China. I've done so many videos on that. Suddenly, when they had Pakistan coming, कि भाई my बाप मेरे को माफ कर दो, he seized that opportunity. He saw two. USA with one lunch killed two stones. One Iran and second China. Everyone thought Iran. Yes, but it's now coming out it is China. But we spoke of it. I spoke of it that Pakistan will become the battleground between China and USA. I mean, now it's becoming stark. That's my view. A lot of people say China, Pakistan, collusion. I'll also talk like that. But there are certain fundamental shifts which are happening, which I have to put on record. To go into Iran, it needed Pakistan, it got it. Then, of course, everyone said Trump wants a crypto deal. First class. Trump wants minerals. Wo bhi hai. That's the cartoon I showed in the beginning. But what is now coming out? 2 days back, Pakistan is a springboard into Central Asia. Central Asia serves two purposes. Central Asia is the backyard of Russia. So he's opening a front against Russia, he's opening a front against China. After all, last month, Xi Jinping went to Central Asian republics and had a meeting with them. Okay, it is not reduction of, and he wants to reduce Chinese influence in Pakistan, and he wants to open another front against China. Why is this? So look at this. Let me expand it. Please understand this picture. Central Asia, Central and South Asia Chiefs of Defense Staff Conference, Islamabad 2025, held 3 days back. USA, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Only Turkmenistan is left out of this deal. Suddenly, Eric Kurala comes, he gets one medal from Zardari. These Central Asian republics and their military people, and they're all fragile republics. What do they give? USA. And we have to understand, the complete West Asia is now under US influence. I mean, is there a doubt in it? China doesn't have a leg to stand on there. Neither does Russia. Both are out of the equation there. So suddenly there's this conference held. So from the Central Asian side, there's going to be a pressure on China. There's also going to be, from Central Asian side, there'll be pressure on Russia. Russia still considers Central Asia as its backyard. 2 years back, when Kazakhstan had a lot of problems, issues, riots, everything in Astana. Astana is their capital. Not in Astana, it was in Almaty. Yeah, in Almaty. Earlier, it used to be called Alma-Ata. It was not China which went to sort out the problems. Russians didn't allow China to come in. Now, in those places, these Americans are getting in. It is two birds with one stone getting into Central Asia, China and Russia. That game is on, and Pakistan is being hammered into it. Mind you, Pakistan, China, and Central Asian republics are supposed to be in good terms. They have oil pipelines, this, that, all that. But still something else is happening. Whom is Trump hitting? Now, when you look at this, but with what else is happening? There's a humanitarian corridor across Myanmar. Today, there's some ceasefire talks in Malaysia being held between Cambodia and Thailand at the behest of USA and China. But the USA has put its foot in here. It's already put its foot in. There's a thing, and this thing will not go easy. They'll put some force there, they'll put some monitoring force, some peace force, something will happen. So the USA has opened a new front here actually. Then this old front, Taiwan and Korea. Now you see how China is being squeezed and Pakistan is party to it. Now what will happen with China? They flip. Okay. And if all this Pakistan is being squeezed to do, and it is being done, whatever is being done, that conference is not so simple. You think Russia will keep quiet? Well, Russia is weakened. Let's be very clear. Russia has got problems. Russia might not react. If Russia doesn't react, there's a vacuum there. Or even if Russia reacts and it cannot do enough, there's still the vacuum out there. China will not undertake military action against these people because we now know China won't take military action. It didn't take military action in Israel. Where will it go against in that Israel-Iran fight? Why will it go to Kazakhstan and fight? And of course, the flip side of that story is China is in no position to fight with anyone. It can only fight with itself. Their PLA is in a horrible mess. We know that. I don't know if they have any generals left. The way they're being polished off. And definitely, without any doubt, I mean, you just hear what General Rajiv Narayanan spoke on Republic the other day. And that's what we've been speaking also. Xi Jinping is in political problems, there's no doubt about it. And of course, what about their economy? What about their other things which we keep talking of China? So you see that, Pakistan has been pushed to do what? Is it good for us? As far as I'm concerned, that part is damn good. We might feel US is against us and it's favoring Pakistan. It'll be given some peanuts to survive. After all, something has to be given to Pakistan, isn't it? But the fact is that what's the other side? It still maintains, USA is still maintaining a strategic relationship with us so that we continue to exert our influence in the Indian Ocean. And it is keeping quiet when people want to buy BrahMos from us. Who are the countries which want to buy BrahMos? Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia. All these countries, ASEAN countries. So you put that, your influence is growing there. So why will I not be happy with this whole situation as an Indian? So this relationship with USA and Pakistan, emerging relationship, we have to see behind the optics. Behind the optics, there is something happening which helps us. It gives you a leeway, gives you an opening. How will you open it? It has exposed Chinese weakness. So when China tries to do something else, we have this finger here. Now let's look at China. After all, we have to look at China also, no? The third angle of this story. China, when Asim Munir went to China, Wang Yi rebuked him. He said, I cannot accept Chinese casualties. All that. Same, day before, 3 days back. He was rebuked. Now, such a rebuke, China doesn't do easily. One. Number two, there was a lot of talk. China will give Pakistan this, that, and all that. There's no evidence. There's not a single talk which has come out in public. China will get A, B, C item. 90 days have passed. On the other hand, people are refusing. All these are there, which I spoke of. See, China says we gave you pilots, we gave you J-10 aircraft, everything, and Pakistan turned around and gave their strategic victory. They attributed it to USA, not to us. Mediation. You went to China, you went to USA, not to us. We were supposed to mediate. Why didn't you give us that? Now you have aligned yourself with the USA and Israel and all that. That means you have put our interests in the Middle East at risk. Is it worth giving you all that money which we have given you in CPEC? If you have to now become friendly with USA? These are the questions in this long list I have put. Talks between Trump and Munir means that USA is the Middle East mediator along with Pakistan. Pakistan is doing mediation between Iran and Saudi Arabia and all, and it has dumped us. The Chinese Middle East energy strategy is hit, and then he says USA is doing all this to degrade our Middle East strategy or energy security, and Pakistan is party to them. These are writing coming out of China. And you think the Chinese the government doesn't know about this, or the Chinese government will not heed to the public of China? And people are saying, why are we giving this fellow money? Why do you want to give them latest equipment? Because for all the equipment you have already given, he is not paid. He says the real intention China feels is to isolate Iran and China. And Pakistan is, party to it with Trump. So he says China's strategic game in this whole place is being undermined by Pakistan. And then, of course, all the information we have, of Chinese weapons which are with Pakistan could be leaked to USA. They're worried about that also, because the same weapons will be used in Taiwan. So all of us who think that there'll be, China, Pakistan, they will live happily ever after. That's like a marriage, a poor arranged marriage. It's a marriage between a rich person and a poor person. That marriage might last, but it will not be happy. I see this happening, especially because Pakistan is now behaving more towards, running towards that side, USA. And China is, they're trying to go to China and make good and all, but they're getting kicked there. Well, eventually, in case of a India-Pakistan issue, China will still support them. Let's have no doubts. Still, USA will come and, interfere. Let's have no doubts. They will try and interfere. They will get brownie points out of this whole thing. But they also, the Chinese are also smart. They're also looking at China, India, Russia relationship. There, tomorrow I'll talk of it. Because everyone now says, apart from Pakistan doing, is India isolated? I want to answer that question also tomorrow. Is India isolated diplomatically? As some people domestically and internationally they're talking of this narrative. The Chinese want to come towards us for whatever reason, however, we are good, bad, or ugly. What are the repercussions of even our going 1 inch towards China? Why I put this article is this is written by a Pakistani in China. A Pakistani writes about the Russia, India, China triangle and puts it in the Pakistani media. And he's worried. So now, after all this, right, we have to take a call. Where do we stand with this stupid country? Are we worried? Why should you be worried? You don't have diplomatic support? We'll talk of it tomorrow. What kind of diplomatic support you have established? Overnight, our diplomatic support is gone. Overnight, we have no friends. Overnight, Pakistan has become a bloody Hanuman. Pakistan remains a weak country. It was a weak country before Sindoor. It remains a weak country now. And even further as it goes, it will remain weak. In fact, even worse. It can't make up the losses of Sindoor so easily. No one will give it weapons, and weapon deals take time. In the meanwhile, their internal problems have started coming up. I've always said you have to deal with Pakistan politically and not militarily. The military has done what it has to do. Now we have to start thinking of Pakistan politically, not militarily. That's it for today. I hope all of you enjoyed or found reason to like what I have said. If you have, I request all of you to press the like button and subscribe to Ghana Shot. And if you're from Pakistan or China, have a ball. The time has come when India will do what it wants to do. Okay? To a large extent, this shift in relationship with USA is good for us. It puts us back on our toes and on our own, which we've always existed from millennia.